And so what Joe Budden said is vital to say. He should be against his competitors. He should be against people that's against them. But I guess it's hard because everybody. I had to be the last person to go, and I know everybody was talking about giving. I don't know if it's giving up on people or not believing in the will of people or being realistic. It could be realistic that we are evil people. Were we evil from the beginning of time and trying to conquer each other, or were we good and just became evil? Like with this when we had these conversations, sometimes we can have surface level conversations, but then when you get to the root of the conversation, then can anybody be mad at what we're doing to each other, or are we supposed to try to make each other better as a society? What are we supposed to do?
Well, you're looking at it. You're looking at it as a whole. You're looking at it as a whole. I think that in a sense, you're right. The problem with your argument is that would be to say that there are no real enemies, right? If a person kicks in your door, are they evil?
If they could kick in your door,
yeah,
it depends on the perception. I think
they're just hungry, bro.
I mean that too. He could say like that in the Quran. It says if somebody's hungry and commits a crime, it's not a crime. And I'm sure there's something in the Bible that says the same thing in context. But if we're living in environments that turn us against each other, and then we get so to the point that we're now at war with each other, is it us or is it the environmental factors that's doing it? How many of us can't get along because of what's outside of us? A lot of friendships I encountered, a lot of relationships I encountered, a lot of people, a lot of different countries I went to, cities I went to. You see that a lot of people have a lot of common. When people sit down and talk, we have a lot of things in common until you listen to something that divides us. So I always acknowledge that if we sit there together and truly get to the common core, what we're supposed to do for each other, and if we're supposed to love each other, we can get along. But once we allow outside factors to condition us or program us that have nothing to do with us to divide us, that's when we had the problems.
I disagree. I think that there are some people that's just inherently evil.
I'm not gonna disagree.
There are some people that are born to do demonic stuff.
I agree.
From the time that they were born until the time that they close their eyes, I think that there's people on this earth that don't have one good intention in a person. I think that they do good things because that's what they have to do, or they endure because that's what they have to do in order to survive in society. But when they get the opportunity, I think that there are some people that is just inherently evil.
But are those the people we lock away and put a key on and just make an example of, hey, some people we can't save, but we won't do to them what we wouldn't want done to us. Just like Joe Budden, we know that he never got his flowers, and regardless to his artistic skills and his ability to rap, he never got his flowers for how good he was. And then when he started his podcast, everybody was going against him. But there's a quote. One of my favorite quotes is, "Die a hero or live long enough to see yourself turn into the villain." Mm-hmm. And is that what essentially happens to us? Like you start out one way, and then all of a sudden the people you encounter turns you to them. So who adjusts to who? Do I get you to submit to my will? Oh wait, we did say that. Do I get you to submit to my will, or do I submit to your will?
I'll gladly live long enough to be the villain. I have no problem with that.
I mean, but in a way, he's
we got to get B. Taylor in there too, y'all.
He's correct, right? Because even if you look at, and my bad, B. Taylor. Let me just say this last thing. Even if you look at the superhero movies that we watch, right? I believe, and I've always believed, for example, if you just look at the Avengers, right? The Avengers were the enemies. I've always believed that Thanos was the one that was correct. And I believe that he was correct, and I still believe that he was correct, even back then before we was revealed with all of the additional context now that we know, because he was trying to save people from themselves. Right? And he was trying to make the hard choice that ultimately would destroy the entire world. Or he was trying to prevent people from destroying themselves. And because the Avengers didn't know what they didn't know, because they was operating out of ignorance, they was fighting the best thing for them. So I don't know. I think about it a little bit differently. I think that a lot of people think that they're doing good, but in reality, they're doing evil.
I agree. I mean,
in most cases, it's going to be heroes when the narcissists in the movies and the cartoons.
So everything that I heard, I'm gonna just have to go against the grain. I think what I heard most people speaking, I was very disgusted because I may talk shit, I may get into it with people. I'm not gonna hurt you until you hurt me, and that's like you come for me physically or emotionally, then it's war. But to wish pain and suffering on somebody because I desire and want something, I believe in karma. I believe that any enemy that ever has spoke up against me, which harmed against me, has always failed, has always suffered, and I never delighted in it. I just said, I hope that they learn to be a better person, because when you carry hate on your heart for so long, that's the person that you end up turning into. So if I'm playing sports, I'm not going to wish on somebody's downfall where they're physically hurt. I had COVID just a few days ago, and that shit was horrible. I went to the hospital for it. And in my mind, I thought about, there's not one person in this world where I would say, in my life, that I would say, you know what, I would wish this on my worst enemy. No, I would not. I don't have that type of thinking. And I think that's how you're raised. I think that's where your relationship's at with God, because I'm convicted at the end of the day when I do something to hurt somebody, regardless. I'm convicted at the end of the day to be like, you know what, that's not right. Like, I feel really bad inside. Like, I don't feel good about it. I don't sleep good at night. Like, oh man, I really just hurt this person. Like, I don't feel good about that. So maybe that's my spirit, but I do think people are born good and they turn evil because this world is an evil world. We're born into sin. It's a sinful world. We're influenced by the sins of this world. But do I think people are born with mental illness that where they lack empathy for others and they commit crimes and do certain things? Then yeah. But somebody that's a baby, you telling me a baby is just evil at fucking heart, like Satan at heart? No, I don't. I personally do not believe that. I go by the Bible. For those who don't,
if you go by the Bible, then you know that you're born in sin.
That's fine.
You're born in sin.
Bible, but for me, it's just like we're born into sin, and we are forgiven, and we are forgiven of our sins.
No, the Bible
says, God. You not God, ain't nobody on this panel not God. I really don't give a damn about none of y'all judging, because y'all don't convict me to hell. So what the fuck do y'all do in my life? Nothing. So I really don't care. So for the people that's listening to this, I don't want you to sit here and think it's okay to wish evil or say I was born evil because I want to benefit myself. You know, there's one thing of protecting yourself, but blatantly wishing harm on somebody, I think, is the most disgusting thing that you can do. And you need to check your heart and your spirit, especially if you're somebody who's spiritual and somebody who do believe in God or a higher power of being. Because you're not.
Can I ask you a question, B. Taylor?
Go ahead, Anton.
Why did God send in his people to wipe out entire civilizations?
Can you use an example?
He sent in the children of Israel to take over land.
God gives us a choice. Now,
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He instructed them to go in and destroy and take over and wipe out everything from the people that he didn't care for. And he told them to take over. And he said, kill everything and don't take nothing. Wait. Why would God instruct the people to do that?
And what story are you?
Okay, I'll look it up for you.
Okay.